In March 2025, the posts of Politburo member Li Ganjie, head of the CCP Central Organization Department, and Politburo member Shi Taifeng, head of the CCP United Front Work Department, were swapped. An adjustment of 2 Politburo-level positions like this is in CCP history virtually unprecedented, and for a time it left the whole party stunned, eyes wide, minds blank. First, the 2 posts have the same political rank. Both are major constituent departments of the CCP Central Committee, and both men still remain Politburo members and members of the Central Secretariat. Therefore, this indicates that Li Ganjie did not commit a serious political mistake, otherwise the outcome would not have looked like this. Second, because the real power of the Central Organization Department is obviously greater than that of the United Front Work Department, this reshuffle reduced Li Ganjie's actual power. For him, that cannot be considered good news. Therefore, the target of this adjustment is Li Ganjie. Something must have gone wrong in the work of the Organisation Department or in Li Ganjie's work. One can say that Li Ganjie's career path has been impacted quite significantly. So what exactly is the backstage reason for this reshuffle? To understand the logic behind swapping Organisation Department Chief Li Ganjie and United Front Chief Shi Taifeng, you first have to understand how the 2 of them obtained their current positions at the 20th Party Congress back then. You also have to first grasp the roles Chen Xi and Cai Qi play on the stage of power. And finally, you must understand the personal situations of Li Ganjie and Shi Taifeng themselves. At the 18th Party Congress, the real decision maker was the still vigorous Jiang Zemin. The power configuration of the 19th Party Congress was Xi Jinping reminded as the main axis, while also taking into account the opinions of Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao. By the time of the 20th Party Congress, Xi Jinping only then gained fully dominant speaking power and achieved comprehensive full control. If we say that at the 20th Party Congress, the producer and boss was Xi Jinping, then the screenwriter and director was the then head of the Central Organization Department, Chen Xi. Using his position as head of the Organization Department and Xi Jinping's trust in him, Chen Xi grabbed the biggest slice of the cake among the 20th Central Committee members. This included Shanghai Party Secretary Chen Jining, Organization Department Chief Li Ganjie, Executive Deputy Head of the Propaganda Department Hu Heping, Beijing Mayor Yin Yong, Fujian Party Secretary Zhou Zuyi, Shandong Party Secretary Lin Wu, Education Minister Huai Jinpeng, Housing and Urban Rural Development Minister Wang Menghui, and Overseas Chinese Affairs Office Director Chen Xu. Among them, Chen Jining is a Politburo member promoted by Chen Xi with his own hands. Barring accidents, he will enter the next standing committee. And Li Ganjie's reverse surge from Shandong Party Secretary to taking over as Organisation Department Chief ensured that Chen Xi would continue to exert important influence over the Organisation Department and personnel matters. So why was Chen Xi able to obtain Xi Jinping's high level of trust? This is not only because of the friendship between Chen Xi and Xi Jinping, dating back to their university days, but even more because of Chen Xi's meritorious service in Xi Jinping's rise to the top, and because of the personnel landscape Chen Xi helped Xi create during Chen Xi's period at the Organisation Department. In Xi Jinping's rise to power, Chen Xi played the following roles. First, he delivered Xi Jinping a doctorate, patching Xi's shortboard in academic credentials. This let Xi remove the biggest psychological burden in his competition with Li Keqiang, Li Yuanchao, Bo Xilai, and the others, adding a doctorate title after primary schooler. Otherwise, everyone today would be calling him the primary schooler general secretary. Second, he turned Tsinghua University into a base area for Xi Jinping, using Tsinghua's science and technology resources and industrial resources to help places like Zhejiang develop their economies. Using Tsinghua's alumni network and intellectual resources, he helped Xi open up and maintain relationships with certain old Tsinghua alumni. Back then, Tsinghua alumni were spread across various departments, and even the standing committee from older figures like Song Ping to Zhu Rongji, Hu Jintao, Wu Guanzheng, and so on. The advisory board of the School of Economics and Management at Tsinghua University was chaired personally by Zhu Rongji, who invited big names from the global financial world as members, turning it into a platform for China's diplomacy to connect with friends around the world. Among them, Song Ping had innumerable threads of connection with Tsinghua and had enormous influence over people like Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao. The old gentleman's influence over the organization system was intertwined in countless ways. Through Chen Xi and Qinghua, Xi Jinping maintained a cooperative relationship with the Songping faction. This is also why Songping's former secretary, Peng Qinghua, not only did not fall at the 20th Party Congress, but was instead promoted to vice chair of the National People's Congress. It is also why Jiang Xinji was able to serve for a long time as executive deputy head of the Central Organization Department. Third, he assisted Xi Jinping in consolidating relations with Hu Jintao, especially in handling Hu Haifeng. Although at the time Jiang still called the shots, Hu Jintao, as the sitting general secretary, had substantial say over the successor arrangement. If Hu Jintao strongly opposed it, Jiang Zemin could not simply force one person through. Xi Jinping used multiple means to seek Hu Jintao's recognition, and the piece involving Hu Haifeng was handled by Chen Xi. Hu Haifeng had long worked at Tongfang Holdings under Qinghua, essentially as a Qinghua employee. Hu Haifeng's wife, Wang Jun, also worked at Qinghua's School of Economics and Management. Xi Jinping and Chen Xi planned and established the Zhejiang Qinghua Yangtze River Delta Research Institute, a properly Department Bureau-level unit. Hu Haifeng moved from being Qinghua's Deputy Secretary General to becoming President of the Yangtze River Delta Research Institute, instantly transforming into a full Department Bureau-level cadre. The institute landed in Jiaxing City. Jiaxing's party secretary at the time was Huang Kunming, and Zhejiang's organization department head at the time was Cai Qi. From this, you can see how seriously old Xi treated this institute. Every key link was controlled in the hands of absolute confidants, no room for even a tiny accident. Just like how Wang Qishan hired Zhu Rongji's son into his own CICC, only after you handle the leader's son does it count as the leader's recognition of you. In 2007, Xi Jinping entered the standing committee as the crown prince. Because Li Yuanchao at the time did not buy Xi's account on personnel matters, and Xi himself pursued a strategy of keeping a low profile, Xi rarely made calls for transfers in those 5 years. The only exception was Chen Xi. Xi first tried to maneuver Chen Xi into becoming Deputy Party Group Secretary at the Ministry of Education, preparing him to succeed as Minister of Education. Unexpectedly, when Jiabao installed Yuan Giren into the Minister of Education position, Xi then worked it again, moving Chen Xi to Liaoning as Deputy Party Secretary, preparing him to succeed as Liaoning Governor. Again, it did not go as wished. In the end, Xi could only place Chen Xi at the China Association for Science and Technology as Party Group Secretary, solving a full minister-level rank in this marginal department. In Chen Xi's 10 years at the Organization Department, he helped Xi Jinping resolve several problems. First, he completed a purge of the Organization Department cadres from the Li Yuanchao era and a thorough overturning of Li Yuanchao's personnel thinking. In the Li Yuanchao era Organization Department, aside from a small number of officials who had secretly already defected to Xi Jinping long ago, all other backbone figures favoured by Li Yuanchao were marginalised. The personnel philosophy advocated by Li Yuanchao was also completely overturned. Second, he completed the marginalisation of cadres with Communist Youth League backgrounds. On the stage after the 18th Party Congress began, many Tuanpai officials still occupied key posts. These people were not corrupt, so the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection could not really do much to them. The Organisation Department carried out comprehensive, orderly reviews of them and moved them to marginal positions. Third, he provided a large number of younger cadres for the systematisation of Xi Jinping's governance. After large-scale anti-corruption, Xi urgently needed to open up new sources of cadres, continuously supplying cadres who were loyal, relatively clean, and had some ability. Chen Xi first mined deputy posts in Financial Central SOEs, and later expanded to deputy posts in Central Enterprises. These people fully fit Xi's needs and cured the personnel hunger syndrome. Fourth, he unearthed a large batch of senior cadres for Xi Jinping's governance. As stated earlier, relying on the Qinghua network and cadres with Fujian backgrounds, Chen Xi helped Xi discover many outstanding senior cadres. Fifth, high-intensity party-building activities. In order to shape Xi Jinping's leader status, the Organisation Department organised countless party-building activities over 10 years. educating the whole party to support Xi Jinping's leadership. It is precisely because Xi Jinping highly trusted Chen Xi's loyalty and capability that at the 20th Party Congress, Xi on the one hand tacitly allowed Li Ganjie, recommended by Chen Xi, to become the succeeding head of the organization department. On the other hand, he allowed Chen Xi to continue serving as president of the Central Party School, not retiring by age, so that Chen Xi could conveniently continue to exert influence. Before the 20th Party Congress, the next generation organization department chief cultivated by Chen Xi was originally Hu Heping. Hu Heping served for a long time as party secretary of Tsinghua University, later went to Zhejiang as head of the provincial organization department, and later went to Shaanxi as governor and organization department head. Hu Heping was promoted by Chen Xi with his own hands, sufficiently loyal, relatively familiar with the general secretary, and in ability and resume very suitable for being organization department chief. He was a fairly ideal next organisation department chief candidate. However, after the Qinling illegal villa construction case broke, Hu Heping, as the then Shaanxi Party secretary, did not implement the general secretary's instructions in a bayonet-to-bayonet, see blood on the bayonet manner, nor did he fight the local interest groups, and he bore part of the responsibility. In 2020, under the general secretary's fury, Hu Heping was reassigned as Minister of Culture, almost marginalised. Later, although he was rescued back as executive deputy head of the propaganda department, it was already too late to catch up with the 20th Party Congress's organisation department chief layout. With no other choice, Chen Xi could only search again among existing cadres for a successor. The final choice was Li Ganjie, but in fact, Li Ganjie was not suitable to be organisation department chief. On the one hand, judging from Li Ganjie's resume, after graduating from Tsinghua, he worked all along in nuclear safety, an archetypal technical specialist cadre with no experience whatsoever in party affairs or organisation work. In the later period, although he served one term as Shandong Party secretary, the resume still looked somewhat insufficient. On the other hand, Li Ganjie, as a typical Hunan man, carries a bandit hero temperament, can drink 2 gin about a liter of liquor, is extremely brotherly and loyal, and when helping his friends, he does not know how to avoid suspicion at all, lacking the compromise and softness the organisation department requires. Of course, this point is precisely why Chen Xi chose Li Ganjie as his own successor, because only Li Ganjie would implement Chen Xi's thinking and opinions without any discount. Shi Taifeng's personality, however, is completely different. The Peking University-educated Shi Taifeng, although a classmate of Li Keqiang, seems not to have had much personal relationship with him. Although he served long-term at the Central Party School, Shi Taifeng is not a bookworm. On the contrary, he is very good at opening up high-level relationships, and especially good at coordinating complex interpersonal relationships. His earliest patron, in fact, was Hu Jintao. Hu Jintao promoted him to vice president of the Central Party School, solving his vice minister level. After Hu Jintao retired and returned to Jiangsu, his hometown, to visit relatives, Shi Taifeng received him throughout the whole process. Hu Jintao's 2 younger sisters have long lived in Jiangsu. Shi Taifeng also took good care of them. Hu Jintao's niece's husband served as chairman of Huatai Securities, Jiangsu's largest securities firm, and at one point lost election as a Jiangsu Provincial Party Committee member. As provincial governor, Shi Taifeng personally met with Zhou Yi to talk and do ideological work. It is said that Shi Taifeng also had a quite direct communication channel with the Jiang Zemin family. Of course, Shi Taifeng's greatest patron is still Xi Jinping. Back then, Ningxia experienced a systemic collapse. 2 consecutive chairmen of the autonomous region secretly indulged creeping Islamization. The autonomous region party secretary Li Jianhua got entangled in Ling Jihua's case. His son did business and was corrupt. Under Xi Jinping's fury, Li Jianhua was ordered into confinement in Ningxia. Shi Taifeng was appointed in crisis and used heavy measures to quickly reverse the rampant Islamization trend. After arriving in Inner Mongolia, Shi Taifeng accurately grasped Xi Jinping's mindset and launched a retroactive 30-year anti-corruption campaign, forcefully pushed Mandarin education, and in fact terminated the ethnic regional autonomy policy that the CCP had implemented since the founding of the PRC. At the 20th Party Congress, considering that Shi Taifeng had successfully handled ethnic and religious issues in both Ningxia and Inner Mongolia, he was made United Front Chief. In fact, his personality is more suitable for being Organization Department Chief. At the 20th Party Congress, if we say Chen Xi and his disciples were the biggest group beneficiaries, then the biggest individual beneficiary should be Cai Qi. Cai Qi, as a standing committee member, oversaw the work of the Central Secretariat and also rarely concurrently served as director of the General Office of the CCP Central Committee, fully grasping the daily operating hub of the CCP Central Committee. He was equivalent to the CCP's Executive Deputy General Secretary, the CCP's number 2 figure. His real power was even above Li Qiang. And Cai Qi and Xi Jinping also have an old relationship spanning many years. When Xi worked in Xiamen, Cai Qi served as secretary to then Fujian Party Secretary Chen Guangyi. Naturally, he helped Xi coordinate matters. Their friendship started from that time. Later, when Xi served as Deputy Provincial Party Secretary, Cai Qi served as Deputy Director of the Provincial Party Committee General Office, essentially serving Xi for a period of time as well. Later still, Cai Qi transferred across provinces to Zhejiang, and a few years later met Xi again when Xi came to run Zhejiang. The two old friends reunited in Zhejiang. Cai Qi's achievements while governing Hangzhou were highly recognized by Xi. Later, Xi was dissatisfied with the Beijing Party Committee leadership at the time and wanted to tackle Beijing's various chaotic issues. So he successively pushed aside Wang Anchun and Guo Jinlong and appointed Cai Qi as Beijing Party Secretary. And Cai Qi did not disappoint Xi's expectations. After arriving in Beijing, he fought several hard battles and in the end even improved Beijing's smog. Cai Qi's style of handling affairs belongs to the type of swift and decisive, daring to fight and daring to charge, often going bayonet to bayonet and seeing blood on the bayonet. Because of his close relationship with Xi, he also dared to feed back negative information he collected to Xi. Their relationship meant he also did not need to worry that Xi would vent anger on him because of bad news. In the later period of the pandemic, loosening the control policies had Cai Qi's contribution. The post-20th Party Congress power configuration was Cai Qi, as a standing committee member, oversaw party affairs and the Central Secretariat, Li Ganjie as Organization Department Chief, and Shi Taifeng as United Front Chief. Both Li and Xi were members of the Central Secretariat and both were under Cai Qi's leadership. Their day-to-day work reported to Cai Qi. The United Front side's work was relatively simple, and Shi Taifeng as a person was relatively gentle. His cooperation with Cai Qi had no problems at all, and the work progressed relatively smoothly. The Organization Department side was more troublesome. Li Ganjie effectively had two bosses. One was the official boss, namely Cai Qi. The other was the invisible boss, namely his benefactor and mentor Chen Xi. Chen Xi and Cai Qi could both report directly to the General Secretary. For important personnel arrangements, Li Ganjie needed to first obtain Chen Xi's instruction or consent and only then report to Cai Qi, yet Chen Xi's and Cai Qi's thinking could not always align. Chen Xi is also from Fujian, and he and Cai Qi are fellow provincials. For a long period in history, the two had quite good relations. The Zhejiang Tsinghua Yangtze River Delta Research Institute was the result of their cooperation. In the period before the 20th Party Congress, the two in fact formed an alliance and jointly recommended multiple cadres. At that time, Chen Xi and Cai Qi, one being Organization Department Chief, the other being a powerful regional leader, had no conflict of interests. Instead, they could assist each other. Take Chen Jining, he was both Chen Xi's student and Cai Qi's deputy in Beijing. It was precisely under the joint recommendation of these two Xi confidants that Chen Jining could be transferred to the extremely important position of Shanghai Party Secretary and obtain an entry ticket for the next standing committee. Also benefiting was Yin Yong, born in 1969. For a period after the 20th Party Congress, Cai Qi and Chen Xi could also complement each other well. For example, many people from the Cai Qi faction also gained promotions, such as the post-1972 Health Commission head Lei Haichao, Transport Minister Liu Wei, and Customs Administration head Sun Meijun, among others. Cai Qi's handling style is completely different from his predecessor Wang Huning. During the 19th Party Congress period, Wang Huning oversaw the Central Secretariat, and Chen Xi was Organization Department Chief. Because Wang Huning came from research departments and did not have a strong desire for power himself, and his relationship with the General Secretary was not iron strong to a certain level, he did not interfere much in the Organization Department's work. More often, Chen Xi communicated directly with the General Secretary. After the 20th Party Congress, it became completely different. Cai Qi himself understands the importance of power. He is iron close with the General Secretary. It was impossible for him to tolerate for long that outside of himself there still existed an invisible big hand controlling the Organization Department. As time went on, frictions between Cai Qi and Chen Xi over who speaks for the organization system were inevitable, one being the formal, official leader according to organizational procedure, the other being the actual controller hiding behind the scenes. The frictions in between required the then Organization Department Chief Li Ganjie to lubricate and coordinate, but Li Ganjie's personality was not suited for this job. It was obvious he would lean more toward his mentor Chen Xi. This is his personality and also his background. If he leaned toward Cai Qi, he would easily be regarded by Chen Xi's faction as a traitor, politically not firm. Since taking over as Organization Department Chief, Li Ganjie basically followed established rules and continued most policies in the Chen Xi era, without launching new work ideas, to some extent affecting the Organization Department's ability to open up a new situation. This made Cai Qi, the Deputy General Secretary who wanted to make a big splash, very anxious, and he also expressed it at the National Organization System meeting. In the end, Cai Qi still reflected to Xi Jinping the problems with Li Ganjie and the Organization Department, and also tactfully put forward this perfect suggestion: swap Li Ganjie and Shi Taifeng. On the one hand, it could preserve Li Ganjie's face. He would still be a Politburo member and a member of the Central Secretariat, still count as being reused, and also help Li Ganjie escape from his dilemma. On the other hand, with Shi Taifeng's arrival, Chen Xi would no longer be able to completely control the Organization Department's operations as before. Instead, he would only report directly to Xi on major personnel issues. In this way, the reporting relationship between the Organization Department and Cai Qi would be straightened out. Of course, this also preserved Chen Xi's face. It did not drag the abnormal relationship between him and Li Ganjie onto the stage. The two also did not tear their faces apart. In the future, they could still cooperate. Why would Xi Jinping agree with Cai Qi's opinion? Because Cai Qi's new plan conforms to the Communist Party's rules, it is something that can be put on the table. The General Secretary also needs to respond to subordinates' reasonable demands so they can work with peace of mind. Moreover, Cai Qi holds two central divine tools, the Central Secretariat and the General Office, and has plenty of methods to influence what information reaches the General Secretary, thereby influencing his judgments. If Cai Qi is willing, he can absolutely make it so Chen Xi cannot easily see the General Secretary. After this adjustment, Xi Jinping only slightly blamed Chen Xi. His trust relationship with Chen Xi will not sharply deteriorate. On major personnel issues, Xi will still solicit Chen Xi's opinions. However, for routine Vice Minister level promotions and appointments, and for speaking power over the Organization Department's internal affairs, Chen Xi's influence will rapidly decline. His mood should be quite terrible. The outside world hears he also looks haggard. Meanwhile, Cai Qi speaking power over personnel matters, and his grip over the Organization Department system will further rise and will reach a peak at the 21st Party Congress. Beijing background cadres and cadres with ties to Cai Qi are blessed, and Cai Qi is also very likely to become the next vice president of the state, continuing his political influence for another 5 years. Chen Jining and Yin Yong, jointly recommended by Cai Qi and Chen Xi, if they do not walk into the wrong doorway, will not have their prospects affected. One, a standing committee member, one a Politburo member. Li Ganjie's age and position originally made him a strong candidate for the 21st Party Congress Standing Committee, but after this incident, it is very likely he cannot continue to advance. Next term, he will have to move to a second-line role, and Shi Taifeng, by the 21st Party Congress, will already be over 67 years old, making it hard for him to remain. The 7 most powerful people of the 21st Party Congress are almost about to be called out loud. Have you guessed which 7 dwarfs they are? Thank you for watching.